everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ron's Library and Ideas. I'm Ron. For the playback tonight, we're going to be talking about just being better as a man and my journey into that. By no means do I ever want you to think that I'm perfect. I have my struggles. I'm doing my best to improve every day. And a lot of times when I'm speaking to y'all about different things, I'm really just giving reminders to myself. Like I'm speaking it out loud, but these are things I need to keep in mind for myself. So I'm going to be tackling two birds with one stone. I'm going to read a chapter or two out of The Way to Superior Man and record that for my YouTube channel and talk to y'all. But while I get that set up, y'all give a listen to something that I made just the other day. What's up? Thank you for tuning in. Y'all listening to some music that I just made. Now I connected my microphone. It kind of messed up. Hold on. Let's see. Stand. Okay, that's the mic. Now, why is it not playing? Why is it not playing out of my speaker anymore? I'm connected. Hold on, I gotta figure this out, Technology, I need to get some speakers. What's going on? Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I made that just the other day. I called it, or I named it therapy. Um, Something that I'm reminded of. I don't know how many of y'all are Harry Potter fans, but in the fourth Harry Potter book, The Goblet of Fire, What's going on? Professor Mad Eye Moody was the defense against the dark arts teacher that year. And he would say to his students, constant vigilance. You need constant vigilance against the dark arts. And, we need to take these lessons that we get from books and apply it in our real lives. And one of the things that I'm realizing that I'm learning, that I have to stay constantly vigilant to make sure I'm bettering myself and not getting distracted. And there's a lot of distractions out there. A lot of distractions. And it's all geared towards making sure we're not getting to our best selves. That's something that I'm working on. Getting to my best self. I saw a video called Desexualizing Your Mind, because the internet and social media throws so much at you. It got to the point to where it was distracting for me. Like, I get on social media and I'm seeing a bunch of stuff that I don't need to be seeing because it's distracting me from what I need to do. So it's good to stay constantly vigilant. And one of the ways that I plan on doing that is really staying into my self-help. One of the ways I'm going to do that is by rereading The Way of the Superior Man. So tonight it's going to be tackling two birds, one stone. I'm going to be talking to y'all, but I also want to be reading out of this book and recording it to put on my YouTube channel. Now, I have the first 10 chapters up there already for those of y'all who are interested. And tonight we're going to be reading chapter 13. Don't use your family as an excuse. So as I get that ready, I'm going to let a little bit more of this play right quick. I really like this beat. All right, so. And for those of you wondering how I do this, I don't want to gatekeep my process, but I got a Blue Yeti microphone that I use to record my voice, and I just go right to GarageBand and record what I have to say. So let me slow this tempo down because I am going to put some piano music at the end of this. All right, output device. It's excellent. Voice, choose, and we're getting ready to rock. Have y'all read The Way of the Superior Man at all? Fellas, if you haven't read it, check it out on my channel. Go get it for yourself. Wonderful book. I gave this book away to somebody, but it was such a good read, I went out and got it again because I need those reminders in my life. So we're going to start with chapter 13. Let's see how long this is. So maybe we'll do chapters 13 and 14. And maybe 15. That's a little bit of a longer chapter. Maybe I'll save that for the next one. But chapter 15 says, stop hoping for your woman to get easier. Ain't that a hallelujah? Don't expect her to get easier. Just get better for yourself and things will follow. So, and I always go back and forth about how to pronounce this man's name. David Deida, D-E-I-D-A, Deida. I'm going to say David Deida today on the recording, and we'll see how it goes. All right. Let me turn off. It automatically puts in like a master echo and a master reverb. So let's see what this sounds like. Mic check, 1, 2, testing. Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2, testing. Mic check, 1, 2. All right, sounds pretty good to me. All right, y'all, so let's begin. y'all get to see my recording voice. The Way of the Superior Man, a spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of woman, work, and sexual desire. Chapter 13. Don't use your family as an excuse. If a man never discovers his deepest purpose, or if he permanently compromises it and uses his family as an excuse for doing so, then his core becomes weakened and he loses depth and presence. His woman loses trust and sexual polarity with him, even though he may be putting much work. Oh shit. That's one of the things that happen. You mess up sometimes reading live, so let's see. I didn't mean to say that. Even though he may be putting. So, even though. Where is that? Okay. Even though he may be putting much energy into parenting their children and doing the housework, a man should, of course, be a full participant in caring for children and the household. But if he gives up his deepest purpose to do so, ultimately, everyone suffers. Take care of the children in the house as much as you want. Just remember that if you give up your true purpose to do so for too long, you are not really helping anyone. Parenting children, as well as any responsible commitment in love, requires that you transcend your own personal preferences for the sake of the larger commitment, for the sake of service and love. This is a natural part of being a householder. However, you cannot abnegate. Am I saying that word right? Abnegate. However, you cannot abnegate your deepest purpose to do so. Okay. Abnegate. That's a new word. You cannot Let me turn this down some. However, all right. It's like it's a trial and error. Things happen. All right. However, you cannot abnegate. Abnegate. However, you cannot abnegate your deepest purpose to do so, or else you will feel frustrated, eventually resigning yourself to a lesser life than you know you are capable of living. This self-resignation will communicate itself to your woman and your children. They will feel your weakness. Your woman will begin to take charge more than she really wants, since you are clearly not capable of taking charge yourself and someone has to do it. Your children will challenge your capacity to discipline them, since they can feel, to discipline them. Since they can feel your own lack of authentic self-discipline. Try as you might, once you have negated your own deep purpose, your household will become a place where everybody tests your capacity to stand your ground, and you will lose. Obviously, as a father or a householder, you will want to give your love, skill, energy, and time to your family. It will be your joy, and it will also be a necessity. However, the motive to dictate time to householding may or may not be symmetrical between partners, and this should be an ongoing discovery for each couple. This motive may change over time for both men and women as their lives grow through different stages. The priority of the feminine in men and women is the flow of love and relationship. The priority of the masculine in men and women is the mission which leads to freedom. Ultimately, true freedom and true love are the same. However, the journey of the masculine and feminine to this unity of love and freedom is very different. If your woman has a more feminine essence than you, or if she is in a more feminine phase of life than you, that her priority will be the flow of love in her life. Her core will be much more fulfilled by the love she shares with the children than yours will be. So now I got my doggone cat outside the door meowing. Let's hope that didn't get picked up. I have a very vocal cat. His name is Mackie. Or if she is in a more feminine phase of life than you, then her priority will be the flow of love in her life. Her core will be much more fulfilled by the love she shares with the children than yours will be. All right. So that didn't get picked up. Hey, make sure y'all hit that like button as you come in. And if you're just now tuning in, we are reading live The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida, or Deida. Where did I saw that? With the children than yours will be. Okay. You will also feel great fulfillment sharing love with your children. But if you have a masculine core, or if you are in the masculine phase of your life, this fulfillment will not touch your deepest parts in the same way. Even if you love your children every bit as much as your woman does, your relationship with them will only be part of your deepest life purpose. Yo, can y'all hear my cat? As much as your woman does, your relationship with them will only be part of your deepest life. I can't. As your relationship with them will only be part of your deepest. Yeah, I can hear them. Y'all hold on one second. Come here, man. I don't run. My bad. Can't have a cat meowing on my recording. All right. He's not a bad cat. He's just very, very vocal. And maybe he is bad because he knows there's stuff he's not supposed to do, and he'll sneak and do it. All right. So where did I stop at? Even if you loved your... I heard the cat right there. Deepest parts in the same way. Fucking Mackie. If you are in the masculine phase of your life, this fulfillment will feel great fulfillment sharing love with your children. But if you have a masculine core, or if you are in the masculine phase of your life, your life. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in, those of you who are still here. This fulfillment will not touch your deepest parts in the same way. Even if you love your children every bit as much as your woman does, your relationship with them would only be part of your deepest life purpose. What is your deepest life purpose? For some men, their deepest life purpose is their family. If you are one of these men, then you probably aren't concerned about the issue of whether or not you are using your family as an excuse. Many men, however, regardless of how much they love their family, also feel a deeper calling. If they do not live true to this calling, then their core weakens, even if they genuinely love and desire to serve their family. When you know your direction and are living it fully, your core is alive and strong. Your children will naturally feel this. They will respond to your clarity and presence differently than they will respond to your ambiguity. Is the word I messed up. It's differently. Then they will respond. Then they will respond to your ambiguity. An ambiguity that results from having detoured from your deepest purpose because you think it's right or fair that you spend time with them. A short period of time with a father who is absolutely present, full in love, undivided inside, and sure of his mission in life will affect your children much more positively than if they spend lots of time with a father who is ambiguous in his intent and has lost touch with his deepest purpose, no matter how much he loves his children. Children learn most from their parents by osmosis. If their father is subtly weak and compromised, this will flavor their experience of his love. Just as you did with your father, your children will unconsciously replicate or react to the emotional taste they absorbed from you. Your essential emotional tone, at ease in your deepest purpose, or fearful in ambiguity of your intent, becomes part of your children's home. If you and your woman both work, it is better to make arrangement with other families to timeshare child caring or to hire someone to help with your children than to permanently compromise your deepest purpose and truth because you feel you must do so to spend more time with your children. It is not the amount of time, but the quality of the interaction that most influences a child's growth. Children are exquisitely sensitive to emotional tone. If you are not full in your core, aligned with your deepest purpose, and living a life of authentic commitment, your children will feel it. For their sake, your sake, and your woman's sake, discover your deepest purpose, commit yourself completely to its process, and find a way to embrace your family as you do so. Be with your woman and your children without compromise or ambiguity. Don't use your family as an excuse to be less than you can be. With birth control so readily available, children are a choice. If you choose to be a householder and raise children, then you are responsible for serving them with as much authentic love as possible, which you can only give if your life is aligned with your deepest purpose. Don't cheat your family of your fullest core, and don't use them as an excuse to avoid the work it will take to manifest your highest vision. You can give love to your family and engage in your life's work if you discipline yourself to act on your deepest desires with priority, since there is no chronically unfinished business in your life to distract you, and no inner ambiguity about where you want to be or what you really want to be doing. Well, that's the end of chapter 13. What do I think about that? Don't use your family as an excuse. All right, that's part of those distractions that can pop up, that will pop up in life. All right, let's see. Where you want to be or what you really want to be doing. Okay, that brings us to the end of chapter 13. And here are my thoughts. You know, there are always going to be distractions that happen in life, and we can either give in to them or stay vigilant and work past those distractions. And not to say your family is a distraction, but if you have a mission, you need to know how to prioritize and put your family in the places that they need to be so you can stay true to that mission, because that is true. Your family, your woman, they can sense when you're not living out your deepest purpose. They can feel that energy or that lack of discipline coming from you. That is something that I need to remind myself of and stay true to, that I need to stay focused and I can't use excuses. I don't have a family right now. I've made the conscious choice not to have children at this time in my life. But if you do have children and you chose to bring them into this world, then you can't use them as an excuse either. You have something to do. But thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be back soon with chapter 14. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, share. Share this with any man or woman who needs to hear this as well, and young men in particular, so they can start early and not make some of the same mistakes that I've made in my life coming up. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next episode of Ron's Library and Ideas. Peace. All right, and that is the end of that recording. It doesn't take very long. So, next thing that I usually like to do, well, let me make sure everything sounds all right. Made the conscious choice not to have children at this time in my life. Audio is clear. So the next thing I'll do is go back to the beginning. I can hear Mackie downstairs still meowing. The Way of the Superior Man, a spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of war. All right. So I always like to put a nice, relaxing piano in the background for the people who are going to be listening to this, so it's just a little bit more calming. Let me go to the ones that what's this? That sounds pretty relaxing, right? That's one I usually use. Now I like the melody on this one, but maybe that's a little bit too distracting. Let's see that, or then we're gonna use the Dreamtime flow. All right, let me adjust the volume. And let's see. The Way of the Superior Man, a spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of woman, work, and sexual desire. Chapter 13, Don't Use Your Family as an Excuse. Okay, I think that sounds good. (8:31). All right, I need to be wrapping this up soon so I can go to bed. It's another one of the things that I'm getting better at, or I'm working on, is prioritizing getting enough sleep. Because, I was saying for the longest, now I only need like 5 hours of sleep a night, but that starts to wear on you. It'll affect your testosterone levels. Low T. You don't want that. You don't want brain fog or that inability to focus. So if you're not getting enough sleep, men, please do so. Do what you need to do. part of that for me is just being more regimented with my time. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, share. Share this with any man or. All right, that sounds good. Um, File, save as the way of the superior man. What chapter did I say this was? 13. Chapter 13. All right, so for those of you who want to listen to this without all the interruptions, this will be up on my channel tomorrow. But in the meantime, you can listen to the first 12 chapters. I have that on there already. And there's something else I wanted to talk to y'all about. The hazing incident. Hold on 1 second. I read something in this book I got from the library. It's interesting how you'll be reading one book and you'll learn something from a passage that you weren't expecting to get from that book. Hold on 1 second. Now, another story or another video you can find on my channel, I talked about why hazing is never going away, or I don't think it's ever going away. Who can say? But name of this book is called The Book at War: How Reading Shaped Conflict and Conflict Shaped Reading. And it's basically about the role that books have played throughout history when it comes to warfare. One of the things that the author pointed out that I wasn't, consciously aware of, in World War II, you had all these leaders of these different countries who were published authors. Like Hitler wrote Mein Kampf, sold a lot of copies. Winston Churchill, the leader of England at the time, he was an author. Stalin, the leader of Russia, he was an avid reader, had a library with thousands of books in it. Now, who else did they mention? Mao in China, he had this little red book. But this passage is talking about a German school or a Prussian school for warfare. The students started going there maybe at the age of 10. And the cultural environment of the school and the mindset of the students, they like to put themselves through hard things, difficult challenges to shape and mold their mind. Essentially, hazing. Now, we can see hazing going on back then in Prussia before the start of World War I. It's no surprise to me that we see these same things happening in fraternities or sororities now. If I understand the story correctly, we had brothers who were in Alpha Phi Alpha who went off to World War II, and when they came back, they had some things from the military that they wanted to implement in the process. But listen to this. All right. So they're talking about a German school or a Prussian school for their soldiers, and it says, the Spartan atmosphere, insufficient food, freezing cold, and rampant bullying of the German schools would have been familiar to any denizen of the Victorian public schools in England. But the cadet schools took the cult of brutality to extreme lengths. Endurance of pain, accepted without demur, was the foundation stone of cadet training, mostly inflicted by fellow cadets. This was so universally accepted that cadets voluntarily added to the pain with self-inflicted torments. And this is a quote from somebody's notes, a student from one of those schools. He said, 25 strokes of the cane on the muscles before breakfast. Why? That's nothing. No one turns a hair at that anymore, even when it hurts so much and one's arms are streaming with blood. 50 with the whip. that's laughed to scorn. With good nature, thick skin, and some cunning, we found the heavy yoke becoming lighter with each day that passed. And with each day, we felt more plainly that we have taken the steel within us. By the end of the year, no one can deny that the little man has truly turned into steel. His muscles are firm, his body is toughened, he has a lively sense of honor, and he is ready to die for his comrades. These quotations come from the cadet school stories of Johannes von Dewald, drawing on his experiences of the preparatory school at Bensberg in the 1840s, one of several such celebrations of the cadet school ethos. Both the cadets and their parents knew what they could expect. They knew what they were signing up for, and they agreed to it because they thought, okay, this is what makes a good soldier. And it's hard to argue with the results that they were getting at the time. Like, Prussia kind of exploding on the scene in Europe at a time when, Napoleon and France, they were seen as a superpower, and then here come the Prussians with an entirely new approach at training their military leaders in their approach to warfare. Something also of note, the way we school our children to listen to authority, that comes from the Prussians as well. Our school system is modeled on the Prussian system. Like the same people that had this boy in school hitting himself with a cable and a whip to toughen himself up. See, one of the things that they found out during war was that they needed soldiers who were going to obey orders immediately. They were fighting against, it might have been the French. I can't say for sure, but the problem was that a commanding officer would give an order, and you had all these educated people in the military. They'll start arguing amongst themselves. Well, that doesn't sound like a good idea. So as they're bickering amongst themselves, trying to decide if they're going to follow that order, meanwhile, you had the Prussians who were trained from an early age to listen to authority. They started in kindergarten and went on up. Even the term kindergarten, Kindergarten, that's a German word. So we looked at how the Prussians were doing things, how they almost had an entirely military society who would listen to authority, and we followed that in America. Rockefeller said, I don't want a nation of workers. He said, I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers. And that's what he got by following the Prussian model. It's just interesting how these things wrap back around. And going back to that idea of these guys brutalizing themselves, there's something called Operation Paperclip. This happened after World War II, when America started bringing over Nazis to America to work in different things. Nazi specialists like scientists, soldiers, officers. But if you look at some of the people who went on to found NASA, Wernher von Braun, that was a Nazi rocket scientist. You wouldn't have NASA without a Nazi. And you see other people who were involved with NASA, they had like these scars on their faces. And that came from those schools that they were going to. Like, they would get into duels in those Prussian and German schools, and it was seen as something of a rites of passage, like to leave some type of scar on your face. And they would do things to make sure that scar stood out to be more prominent. Go and check the archives, look at those early founders of NASA, and you'll see different people in there who have those scars. You'll be like, well, what happened to that guy? He came from Germany. Well, anyway, I thought that was interesting. Like, just learning these different things and how they come around. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. I guess I'll leave y'all with some music on the way out. I saved this. Open recent. All right, this is something else that I made. We'll rock this out, and then we're going to end the live. Thank y'all for tuning in. Those hiccups that I'm hearing in the music, that comes from using a Bluetooth speaker. It's not always smooth. All right, y'all, be easy.